She had been the calm, steady voice millions of Americans turned to every evening for the biggest stories of the day. Trusted, poised, and always in control, that was how the world saw her. But one ordinary afternoon, a single message from her doctor shattered that sense of security forever. In that moment, she wasn't a seasoned journalist anymore. She was just a woman forced to stare directly at her own mortality. What happened next quietly changed the way she saw everything: her career, her family, and the fragile gift of time. Long before she became one of the most recognized faces in broadcast news, her life had already been shaped by movement, discipline, and different worlds. Born in Washington, D.C., to a family rooted in public service, she grew up with a father who was both a doctor and a military officer. Her mother carried deep Irish heritage, with grandparents who had crossed oceans as immigrants in search of a better life, one of them even living in the country without papers for over a decade. When she was still a little girl, her family moved to San Antonio, Texas, but her childhood wasn't limited to one place. At just 10 years old, her father's assignment took them overseas to South Korea. Living on a military base near Seoul opened her eyes to a completely different culture during some of her most impressionable years. It was there, as an elementary school student, that she unknowingly took her very first steps into broadcasting, recording simple English lessons for Korean students. That small experience planted a quiet seed. Back in Texas, she excelled in high school and later headed to Georgetown University, where she studied philosophy, learning to wrestle with big questions about truth, ethics, and society. Those early years built the foundation for the kind of journalist she would become: thoughtful, prepared, and deeply curious. Her career began behind the scenes, writing for a congressional newspaper on Capitol Hill. She learned how to break down complex political stories into clear, honest language. From there, she moved into national television, spending over a decade across major networks, reporting from the White House, covering campaigns, appearing on morning shows and primetime programs. She earned a reputation for being reliable under pressure. Colleagues trusted her. Viewers recognized her steady presence during the most difficult national moments. But no amount of professional success could prepare her for the day her own life was put on the line. It was shortly after Thanksgiving when the email arrived. Her doctor needed to speak with her urgently about some test results. At first, she stayed calm. She even joked with her parents that it was probably just a minor skin issue that ran in the family. But when she finally got on the phone, the news hit like a wave. Melanoma. The word carried a weight that nothing in her career had prepared her for. Unlike more common skin cancers, melanoma can spread quickly and become deadly. For the first time in her life, this woman, who had spent decades asking hard questions of others, had to face the scariest question of all: what if my time is running out? She cried, hard. The fear wasn't just for herself. At home, she and her husband were raising 3 young children, twins who were growing up fast, and a little daughter who still needed her mom. The thought of leaving them behind shook her to her core. Thankfully, the cancer had been caught early. Surgery was required. Doctors removed a significant section of skin from her upper back. The scar would remain, but so would her life. In the months that followed, regular checkups and biopsies became part of her new normal. Instead of keeping it private, she chose to speak about it openly on national television. And her message was clear and urgent. Early detection saves lives. Get your skin checked. Wear sunscreen. Don't ignore changes. She had reported thousands of stories about other people's struggles. Now she understood how it felt when the story became your own. But life wasn't done testing her. A few years later, while anchoring one of the country's most important evening news programs, another health emergency struck without warning. She had been pushing through abdominal pain for days, even playing 2 full hours of tennis, while her body was quietly fighting appendicitis. When the pain finally became unbearable, doctors rushed her into surgery for an emergency appendectomy. The operation went well, but it forced her to step away from the anchor desk for a short time. Her husband posted a photo from the hospital, and she later shared her own reflections, reminding everyone how easy it is to take good health for granted and how important it is to listen to your body. Even during her recovery, rumors started swirling in media circles. Some suggested her absence had more to do with network politics than health. The whispers hurt, especially because the surgery had been very real and very necessary. Over time, the pressure of the job only grew heavier. The constant travel, breaking news at all hours, and the emotional weight of reporting on tragedies while staying composed on camera began to wear on her. She started experiencing anxiety, the kind that doesn't show on television but lives quietly behind the calm delivery. She made a brave choice. Many in her position hesitate to talk about. She sought therapy. She spoke openly about how the unpredictable nature of news can be mentally exhausting and how important it is to protect your peace. In a world that expects journalists to remain unbreakable, her honesty helped shine a light on mental health struggles that many face in silence. Her family became her anchor during those difficult seasons. Her husband made sure there was dinner waiting after. Long days, small moments of normal life kept her grounded when the world felt chaotic. Still, she admitted there were years when she struggled to fully disconnect from work, afraid she might miss something important. Then came one of the most talked-about moments of her later career, a major interview with Donald Trump for 60 minutes. The conversation sparked intense debate. Some praised her professional approach. Others, including fellow journalists, criticized her for not being aggressive enough. The backlash spread quickly across social media and commentary shows. She stayed mostly quiet through the noise, choosing to let her work speak for itself. But the constant scrutiny, combined with years of demanding hours and personal health scares, began to shift something inside her. After guiding the evening news through another presidential election cycle, she made a surprising announcement. She was stepping away from the daily anchor chair. It wasn't a retirement, it was a transition. She moved into a senior correspondent role, focusing on longer-form stories and major interviews. For the first time in years, she gained some breathing room in a schedule that had once controlled every hour of her life. Looking back, her journey reveals something powerful. Behind the trusted voice and steady presence was a woman who faced cancer, emergency surgery, intense public criticism, and the hidden emotional cost of a high-pressure career. Through every challenge, she kept showing up for her family, for her viewers, and for the truth. Her story reminds us that even the strongest among us are human, that life can change in a single phone call, and that sometimes stepping back isn't giving up. It's choosing what matters most when you've been reminded how precious time really is. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Life is fragile. The people we admire carry burdens we rarely see. Norah's journey is proof that resilience isn't about never falling. It's about how we rise, how we heal, and how we keep moving forward with grace. If her story moved you, do me a favor. Hit that like button, leave a kind comment, and subscribe for more real stories about the lives behind the headlines. Your support helps us keep sharing these important journeys. Thank you for watching. Take care of your health, cherish your people, and remember, tomorrow is never promised.